Become truth's junkie. Use sorrow's tears to wash it down. Wolves in sheep's clothing unfolding lies. Truth! Set us free. Digging through the lies, finding you beneath the filth of hate and deceit. Truth! Bring us to our knees. Bent over in repentance, repeating the past, retreating. Don't ask, don't tell me no lies. Pop these pills of the truth is a hard pill to swallow. Coughing up these lies, choking my cognitive, distancing me from things unseen, confusing the very fibers of my being, my membranes, remembering, distorting my brain cells, brain dead to lies, brainwashed in truth, baptized in a new baptism. Is all forgiven? Repentance, recompense, making lies make sense, nonsense. Take this pill, pillow soften the blows of confusion, pillow talking life and death, eating the fruit of the seed you sown, reaping harvest unknown. Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to Change the Channel. No static, no interference. I am Lisa L. Yomis, your host, the founder of Change Gonna Come, where we are a voice in the fight for justice, a hand in building community, and a key to unlocking freedom. So again, welcome to Change the Channel. And tonight I have my guest, Shawn Saxton. She's going to be my guest tonight, and we're going to be having a conversation concerning domestic violence. And we know that this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I'm just going to give a brief part of Shawn's bio, and then we're going to get right into our conversation for tonight. So Shawn Saxton is a longtime advocate for domestic violence, intimate partner violence survivor, suicide, mental health, substance abuse, co-occurring, and for children in the state systems, at-risk girls. She understands the emotional, physical, and social pressures girls face and how risky the transition of adolescence can be. By providing a supportive environment, Ramah Empowerment Incorporated aims to empower girls to develop successful skills that will assist them with becoming more aware of their innate value and overall potential. As a social service advocate and entrepreneur, Shawn is motivated to create a program that would improve the impact the lives of the girls in which Ramah Empowerment Center Incorporated serve in the community and anywhere there is a need for empowerment. So Shawn, welcome to Change the Channel. So glad to have you here. So glad that you accepted the invitation to join me so that we can have the conversation and continue to spread awareness concerning domestic violence. So Shawn, as I stated, you are the founder of Ramah Empowerment Center.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about Ramah Empowerment Center and why you started it, and what need is it serving or meeting within the community?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Lisa. Lisa is my friend out there, y'all. Okay, so the Ramah Empowerment Center, I started it in 2013 really because of the need to be able to empower other women for different reasons. How we serve the community, we are there on the front line speaking to women, because basically that's what I deal with is women, speaking to women and empowering them. And that means, helping them get out of domestic violence, walking them through, because sometimes you can't always get out right away. Mm-hmm. So that means walking them through, empowering them. That might mean for a woman to go back and get her GED. And it also might mean for her to just stay put until she's able to leave and be able to leave alive and safe.
Okay. So in reading the brief bio, I did see that you are a survivor.
I am.
You are an overcomer, survivor. So tell us a little bit about your story dealing with domestic violence.
Well, my story started at 21, and I stayed in the domestic violence, because I'm not going to say my domestic violence because it wasn't mine, but I stayed in that relationship for 13 and a half years. In that relationship, I had my children. And through it all, I had goals, and I had set goals to be able to get out, and to be able to get out alive, because that's the most important part of getting out of a domestic violence situation, is being able to get out alive, and also being able to tell your own story, because no one can tell your story the way you can tell your story. So that was my goal. And in that, I made sure I went back to school. I made sure I was marketable, you know what I mean? To be able to support me and my three children. So, and it was much more than that, but it was just, I had a plan, I had a goal. The longer I stayed, I got more creative with my goal. And the goal was to be able to, like I said, get out alive, but it also was to be able to go back to school. Because when I came to Florida, things had changed. In New York, I was able to make money, work, and do certain things. But in Florida, I didn't have no degrees. And down in Florida, they want you to have degrees for everything. So I was able to go back to school, and I just took my time. And I just was praying, Lord, I just got to get out of here. But in order to get out, I had to have a plan. I wasn't just jumping out, because I tried that, and I tried to go to different agencies, and I'm not knocking an agency, because I know of an agency that worked for other people, but it just didn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work for me. So it wasn't like I could not have gone to school. I needed to go to school, because that was my only way out. So I stayed until I got my bachelor's degree. And the day that I got my bachelor's degree, that's the day that I got real nasty, real indignant,
Yeah.
real. And I told him, I don't need you, but I'm giving you the nice short version, because at that time I was not saved. And honestly, I went from zero to a million. And the way I talked to him and told him, because I felt like I had a sense of freedom.
Okay. So you said you was in it for 13 years,
13 and a half.
13 and a half years. At what point within the marriage, because it was a marriage, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, at what point within the marriage did the abuse start?
From the very beginning. It was from the very beginning. But I did not know what I know now.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't always talked about back then. I think within the last 10 years, or probably after the movie The Burning Bed, we
Okay.
started with Farrah Fawcett
Yeah.
when she set him ablaze. We started really hearing about it, and it started you know being more open. Then with OJ and Nicole, it started being open, and then people started realizing, wait a minute, this is a bigger problem than what we see over here in this neighborhood. Because we might see this in this neighborhood, but it's also going on in that neighborhood. It's
Mm-hmm.
going on in the inner city, but it's going on in the suburbs. It's going on with people of low economic status, but it's going on with people with money. It's going on with people without education, but it's going on with people with education.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no longer isolated. It's not
Okay.
for one demographic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a social ill.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So, what I want to ask you also, you said it kind of started at the very beginning. So, looking back now, when you look back, what were some of the signs that had you known at that you would have been a little bit more clear as to what was going on? So, when you look back, what was like some of those signs that you can say now that was it?
Telling me how to dress,
Mm,
telling me how to wear my hair, how to speak, how not to speak, how to conduct myself, how not to conduct myself. Those are warning signs. And a lot of times, the young girls, we could take that as, oh, he told me to wear my hair like that. Oh, he loved me. He crazy about me. Oh, he told me don't wear them shorts because somebody looking at me. Well, that's how you found me. And I'm not saying me. I'm saying those are some of the signs.
mm,
The isolation, I don't want you to be with this person, but you met me with her. That was my friend when you met me. But now she's not good enough to be my friend. Oh, because she just, she just drinks, she curse, she goes to the club, she does all the things that he don't like. But it was okay when he was in her ear to try to get to you.
Mm-hmm.
Those are signs. Oh, but when you met me, I had maybe I wore my hair perm. But now that we're together, I don't like your hair perm. I like my woman to be all natural. I don't like my woman to wear makeup, but you met me with some makeup on. But that's not how I like my woman. Those are signs. And we'll take those as being he care. He just no. No. Those are warning signs that we could overlook because they're very subtle. They're
Yeah.
not the sign where he punched you in your face because you looked at him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or you go out to dinner and you can't look at him. You got to look down because he's afraid you looking at the couple over next in back of him because the man is facing you. So you get
Mm-hmm.
yourself all beat up. Those are
Mm-hmm.
signs. The signs are there. It's just up to us to recognize um, the signs because they're there.
Yeah. So when all of these things were going on, did you have like some type of inward feeling like something's not right about this and you just chose to stay or
I didn't know how I got into it
okay.
because I was one of them young ladies, grew up in Harlem, and to be honest with you, that wasn't happening to me. That
Mm,
just wasn't happening to me. I was not allowing that to happen to me, but it was subtle, and oftentimes it is subtle. It is subtle,
yeah. And I
you
like
know.
the comment Katie made, the things you never give a second thought to. And like you
Yes.
were saying, it comes across like as somebody caring, but it's really like control and somebody being
Control.
possessive over you.
That's it. That's it, Katie.
Mhm.
Is that we don't give it a second thought because we think it's all right. Oh man, he loved me. No, he don't. He's controlling you, and it's subtle. It is just so subtle that sometimes we don't even realize that we're being controlled.
Mhm. And so with the isolation part of it, were you like isolated from everyone? Like did
I
you
didn't go through that.
oh okay, you didn't go
I
through that.
didn't go through the isolation. There were things that I didn't go through because I just need people to understand. Although I was in domestic violence, I was not that one that you just going to hit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that sister that you might have to kill because I'm talking back.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that you just put your hands on me and I was okay with it.
Yeah,
No, but it still was domestic violence because why
absolutely.
should I have to fight you?
Yeah, yeah. And this question I'm asking because I know that some women may be in these particular situations and they have children and they feel, I got to stay because I have these kids and how I'm going to take care of my kids and how we're going to manage. Was that a factor for you?
Well, it really wasn't a factor so much, but it was a consideration
Mm-hmm.
because people will tell you to get out of domestic violence. They'll tell you all this. But when you come and you stay with someone with your children and you have more than one child, they start looking at you. They start rolling their eyes. I'm here, Jenny. They start rolling their eyes. They start looking at you sideways.
Mm,
Your kids, your children, they're used to going in the refrigerator, but they're not home no more. So they can't just go in somebody's refrigerator because they're looking at you rolling their eyes. And you don't put that food in that refrigerator. That wasn't the case with me though, but I didn't want to put nobody involved. And let me be very clear. It wasn't a point where I worried about my family. What I worried about my family going to prison for a whole life, for a life big. It
yeah.
wasn't like I was worrying about somebody running up on my family. That was not the case. The case was I was more concerned about me getting out alive, my children having a mother, and possibly one day having their father. He
Yeah.
just wasn't for me.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Now, Shawn, I know your focus was on getting out. So, at what point within those 13 years did you say, "I'm getting out of here. Something has to change," and you started planning and like going
From the
back to
very
the drawing board
beginning.
from the very beginning?
From the very beginning, because when I came to Florida, I was coming to leave him,
Mm,
but my dad got in my business, and we came down here, and he came after, and he said, "Why don't y'all buy a house?" And
mm,
I'm saying in my mind, do he not understand? I'm trying to get away from this man, but I never conveyed that to them. I
mm-hmm.
never let him know. But then after, when I let him know, he was like, "Why you didn't tell me? Because you
Oh,
still could have come down here, you know." But the thing was, I was an adult. I had these children. Yeah, I wasn't, yeah, by law, I was fully grown, but I don't think you always grown because you have children,
absolutely.
you know? So I had to make do for them. But my plan always was to get out. And then I messed around and had the three. But let me go back. I wasn't married from the beginning. I married after I had them,
Okay, okay.
you know? And so yeah, I've always had a plan to get out. I've always
Mm-hmm.
had a plan to get out. But like I said, my plan was to get out alive. My plan was to be able to get out and not go back.
Mm-hmm.
So I was strategic, and mostly everything that I do, I'm very strategic in what I do. I don't do nothing on an impulse,
Okay, yeah.
and I've always been that way, and it wasn't a fact where I lived in fear. I didn't live in fear. It
Mm-hmm.
had got to the point where I got fearful of really just destroying him. That was the fear that
Okay.
I had,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it came to a halt January the 1st, 1996. It came to a halt.
Oh, and that's when you actually left.
No, that's when I actually put my feet down
Okay.
and said there will be no more, because at that point, I almost took his air from him.
Mm.
He
Mm-hmm.
almost was without any air.
Okay. I know it's not funny, but it's how you say, okay, y'all, Shawn is my friend, so we do this.
Yes.
So, but before we continue on, I do want to put up this number here for the domestic violence hotline. You can call 800-799-SAFE or 7233. That's for anyone that needs help. Or if you know someone that needs help, you can get that information to them. You can also visit the website. Let me put that up. Well, it's going across the screen here, thehotline.org. You can visit the website for information and resources if this is something that you're in, or if it is something that someone else that you may know that needs this help. So we're going to continue on with our conversation. And Shawn, we do have a question for you. So the question is, so what made you leave? I know
Because I
you
didn't want to
got.
spend my life in prison and my children be without their mother and without a dad, and
Mhm.
somebody else is raising them.
Okay, so that's what made her leave, right?
Yes.
Right. So, Shawn, I do have another question. When you left, when you said I'm leaving, you came to conclude. Well, you already had your plan over these years that you were leaving. What were the physical steps that you actually took? Because I know some women can be in these situations, and they try to leave, and they do lose their lives, or
Right.
they get hurt
So
in the process.
I
So, what was that process like for you?
I had got an injunction out on him because after January the 1st, I got an injunction, but things didn't pan out just that quick because he left. He left, and he was working up up north in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and things didn't pan out just that quick. So um I had the injunction after January the 1st. And then I
Oh,
went back and got another injunction, and I kept getting an injunction until, I wore him out, he wore me out, we wore each other out, because we knew someone was going to lose their lives, and
Mm-hmm.
the children will be without a parent.
Yeah.
They will have a dead parent, and they will have a parent in prison, and we knew that because it
Mm-hmm.
had got to that point.
Yeah.
It got, and it wasn't just so much as the physical, it was the point, it was a lot of the mental stuff.
Okay. Now I do have a question when you mentioned the injunction, because I know sometimes women have the injunction or the restraining order, um, and they're not honored, and they can go to the police and say that this is going on, this person is not honoring this injunction or whatever, and sometimes either nothing is done or not enough is done, and then you still find someone loses her life
You
because
know, to be honest with you, Lisa, I think he knew that some of my family was really getting tired when I started telling them.
okay.
And it wasn't like he didn't know my family,
Mm-hmm.
because he knew a lot of them. And when I was telling them, they were like, I didn't know you was going through it, but I didn't want to involve nobody in it. So I'd rather have put the police on him. So he already knew at this point, you know what? Somebody is going to be seriously hurt.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be seriously hurt, because it was almost to the point, okay, two things could happen. Somebody could be tried by 12, or somebody could be carried by 6.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it had gotten. It had gotten to that point.
Yeah. So
Either
no, so when you told your family, was it when you was getting closer to your exit that you started sharing that with other people?
no, sometimes I would talk about it with my cousins. If my
Mm.
cousins that was in New York, sometimes we'll talk about things, and they'll be like, "Charlotte, I didn't know you was going through that," and different things like that. And I was like, it's okay, because it's going to be over soon.
Yeah.
So it was, for me, it never was a point where I was really scared to tell my family. I just didn't tell my family because I did not want, again, I wanted my children, I didn't want my children to lose both parents.
Yeah.
Because in domestic violence, your children lose both parents. One is dead and one is in prison. And the children lose.
Yeah. That's true.
They lose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was kind of thinking about. And like I said, it wasn't like every time he saw me he put his hands on me. No. But it was the times that we did, it did not make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
it went on for too long. I'm
yeah.
not going to sit and tell anybody that, oh my God, that's all he used to do. No. And I was not, no, absolutely not. I'm getting mad thinking about that. No, he didn't just put his hands on me and was able to say, oh, I beat her up. No,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that type.
Yeah.
Not
And
at all.
and so you mentioned the kids because the truth is the children are always suffering. They always
Yes.
lose in these situations. So talk about domestic violence and the effect that it has on children, like short term and also long term.
For me, I watch mine and I watch other children, over the years. And I watch two things happen when children are going to school. They're they are either overcomers. They strive for to be overachievers, or you have that
Mm-hmm.
one. There were there were between 7 and, during those years, maybe 13, 7 and
Mm-hmm.
13. You have that overachiever and you have that one that's just barely making it. But that overachiever is the one that's really locking themselves up away from what's going on, because they
Mm-hmm.
have gotten to the point where, what, this go on, I'm not thinking about it. I'm just going to remove myself. Then you got that other one that's always there. It's a child that's always there, right there underneath you. And then you have another child that's indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
And I could say that because I had three. I don't, and I noticed that with other people. Like I said, you have that overachiever because they locked up in their books, because you know what? They get to the point where, oh, this is going on. They're fighting again.
Oh, okay. So they
you
kind of
know.
like get used to the cycle of what's
And
going.
that's their way of protecting themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and again, you have the one that's right there because they're scared something's going to happen to you, like maybe you're going to get killed or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it. I've seen it working with children in foster care, and I've seen it. Like, why do you act up? Yes, I did get
Okay.
them counseling. Yes, I did. For a
Mm-hmm.
long time, we went to counseling even after the divorce. I surely did. That's a whole nother story because I had a lot of people saying all kind of nasty things about me going to
About
counseling.
you going to counseling, but
Yeah,
I mean, it was needed though, which is a good
because
thing that you
we
did.
know that it's needed, but you
Mm-hmm.
have the black community don't believe in counseling, and
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the problem. I had all kind of nasty things. Why are you taking them to counseling? Y'all think y'all this? No, I wanted them kids. I wanted them children to be okay, be able to discuss their feelings because we could talk. We
Mm-hmm.
could talk. Grown people could talk about that. But the children have nowhere to talk about. And
Yeah.
then when they act up in school, you say, boy, girl, what you acting up for? What do
Yeah.
you expect from them? They
Yeah.
don't know if they're going to come home and not find you or find you dead. They don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that is so true. So when you all went to counseling, was it easy for them to open up?
No, no, because they were, they were like, I remember she was awesome. And they were like, we're not allowed to tell my mommy business. And I was, and my youngest one, she was
Yeah.
like, don't ask me no questions because I'm not allowed to talk to strangers.
Yeah. Okay, so I know Sean's children. So that do sound like your youngest one. And they're doing great, by the way. So but
Yes.
I'm so glad you that you got counseling for them, that you recognize that even though I'm the adult here and I was in this, and this is what I chose, or I had my escape plan, but I was here, still my children needed something. So when you
I
think
worked in
about
foster care. I saw children that came out of
it,
domestic violence. I worked in the system.
hmm,
I saw this every day.
yeah. And when you think about it, like when you see your children now, your young adults, mothers, father, that their life could have been so much different now had you not gotten them the counseling and the help that they needed, to
Yeah, but
process what was
the
going on.
residue for the youngest one, she found herself in the same situation,
Yeah.
you know. And I talked to her about that as well. And like, it's not worth it. It's really
Mhm.
not worth it. And especially when you don't have to put up with it, and she doesn't have to put up with it either. But, she could tell her own story one day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I'm so glad you did get counseling for them.
And they
So
had individual counseling and we had family counseling because I thought it
okay.
was very important for them to be able to have their own time
Mm-hmm.
because they might not have wanted to say something in front of me.
Oh, that's true.
So, I had that counseling with them. We had a family, me and the three children, and then they had their own time.
Mm, that's good. That's good. Do they still talk about that today at times?
Um, the youngest one, she does, and she remembers, and it brings on some resentment with her toward her father sometimes.
Okay.
you know um the middle one, she she really don't talk I'm sorry, she really don't talk about it a lot, and I think she just shut it up, but
Mhm.
we have talked about it, and she has asked me, why did you stay?
Mm,
And when I explain to her, sometimes I stay because leaving and going to stay with somebody, it's okay for a few days. But then after a while, those children want their own space. They
yeah,
want to be back in their own, they want to be back in their own place.
yeah, that's
You
true.
know, they
That,
want to be back in their own place. They want, I don't know what that is, that light. They want to be back in their own place. The oldest one, um, he doesn't really talk about it.
mm,
He doesn't talk about it. But sometimes, he'll call me out the blue and say, Mommy, I thank you. All of them would be like, Mommy, I thank you. I'd be like, for what? They'll be like, because you took care of us. No matter what, you took care of us.
Yeah.
You took care of us. You laughed. You went on. You went to school. You did some things. You didn't play with us. You made no excuses. They're going through this, but okay, y'all got to get this together.
Yeah.
I got to get together. We're not using this as no excuse for you acting out.
Yeah, that's good. And then they was able to see you just move on and then be successful in the things that you chose to do also. So that was good. So everyone, we're going to take a short break and then we're going to come back and have another finish off our conversation with Shawn Saxton, our guest on tonight. Get your copy of America the Beautiful, Poetic Injustice and Inequality in Black and White. America the Beautiful is a collection of poetry that highlights and takes on racism, injustice, and inequality in America head on. 90% of the proceeds will be funneled back into the community in various ways, to include assisting community organizations actively working to build up the state of their communities, educating and building our youth, and also disrupting mass incarceration. To order your copies of America the Beautiful, visit changegonecome.today. So thank you everyone that's joining us on tonight. And we are back with Shawn Saxton, the founder of Ramah Empowerment Center. And in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Shawn is here and just bringing awareness, sharing her story, how she got out, the things that she's doing now in the community, and how she's helping other women to come out of domestic violence in a safe way. So with that, Shawn, we're going to continue this conversation, but I want to talk about your book now, A Tribe Out of Domestic Violence. That's one of the books that you've written. And I know there was co-authors, but your particular chapter was concerning stalking. Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about that.
Ooh, I was a teenager and I didn't know nothing about that. That was something that really wasn't talked about. And when we was writing the book, because I'm going to write a separate book about my life story on domestic violence. But the Lord gave me this book over 10 years ago to write about domestic violence. And I said, okay, I could write about stalking. That's part of violence because I knew the individual. I knew him, and he stalked me for a good while. That wasn't going to end very well, but it ended very well because of the respect thing. I'm not going to give all of it out. If they really want to read about that story, they're going to have to purchase the book.
And where can they purchase the book, Shawn?
They can purchase the book from me. All they have to do is DM me. I'm on Facebook, Shawn Lovely Saxton, or they could go to Amazon.
Amazon, okay.
Yes, they could go to Amazon. Yes.
Okay. And
So,
now with the book, A Tribe Out of Domestic Violence, it's different women talking about sharing their stories concerning domestic violence.
It's 9 women.
Okay.
And the book was inspired. The Lord gave me the book. Like I said, 10 years ago, he didn't give me the title until we was in the pandemic. But he said, write a book with women because I work with women. And it wasn't about me. It was about empowering other women to get their stories out. The book is awesome in nature. The book is we have a pastor's wife. We have a nurse. We have an awesome my good friend, one of my good friends as well, a licensed mental health therapist. She wrote about domestic violence from a mental health perspective. Then one of my other good friends, you know her, JR, she wrote about the financial part of domestic violence. Then we had another one of my good friends. She wrote about, overcoming it. And all of us in the book are professional women. All of us are professional women. So it's not like, and even when we was going through it, it wasn't like we was just, not having nothing. We had something going on. We had some dreams and aspirations, So, but all of us came from, We came from okay backgrounds, you know. Um, I don't think none of our moms was on drugs or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, the book is it's a tool because I know for my part, I have left some room for you to write when you think you're being stalked, or some of the signs as well,
Okay,
you
yeah.
know, things like that. And just it's very inspirational, it's very educational. And you might find out of those 9 stories, because it's 9 women, you might find you are in one of those scenarios.
Mm,
If not one, maybe two, maybe nine. I don't know.
yeah. And is it just some things like people just get accustomed to, or they think that this is how it should be, and different things like that,
Right.
so they get trapped in the
You
situation.
you get trapped because if you have children, let's face it, you don't I don't have my children are grown now, but I don't want a bunch of children running around me now. My nerves can't take it. I I,
Hmm.
I done got old. I don't want a bunch of children running around me. People lives are not cut out for your life. They will tell you, oh girl, you should do this, girl, you should do that. But they're
Mm,
not going to open that door up for you to be comfortable with you and your 3, 4, 5, 7 children. You might
yeah.
have more than that. They're not going to. So sometimes you have to stay and you have to just endure until you could do better.
Hmm.
Folks will say, well, you stupid, I will leave. But that's you. That's not me. I have to live my life just like anyone have to live their life. And no matter what, at the end of the day, I had to make sure that I was around to raise my children because I made a promise that I would take care of my children.
Hmm.
I promised my children the day each of them came out that I had them, I looked at them and I told them, no matter what, I'm going to protect you with every breath that I have. And if it meant me losing my life to protect them, it would have happened. But it
Hmm.
didn't have to happen.
Yeah, that's powerful. So, Sean, I want you to again, they can pick this up at Amazon, your book, or they can go to your Facebook. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Facebook, that's the wrong one. I'm gonna get this
It's
together,
it's
y'all.
okay. Just say my name, Shawn Lovely Saxton.
Sean Lovely Saxon on
Mhm.
Facebook, and they can DM you for a copy. Are they able to, or is anyone able to email you also? Will you accept
Um,
the email?
yeah, they can email me. We don't have the email.
Yeah,
Yes,
I have the email, so you can
yes.
email her. And yes, someone just endure or stay. That's what you was mentioning.
Yeah, endure or stay.
Hmm.
And when you endure, you always got to have a plan. Samantha, you must always have a plan.
So, Sean, I don't mean to cut you off, but when we're talking about endure and staying, and you're saying about the plan, if a woman is in this situation and she needs a plan to get out, where are some, how can she connect to someone or an organization that she can set that up so that she will be able to leave in a safe way?
Well, she could always inbox me. She could DM me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a page, Domestic Violence Awareness. I'm sorry, I didn't put it up there. Domestic Violence Awareness. I
Oh,
have a
you do have a
page
page. Mm-hmm.
as well. There's a lot of women that um, go on Domestic Violence Awareness and they DM on that, and I help them.
Okay.
There's been some that said, "Don't ever text me. I'll text you," and I'm always going to respect your anonymity. I
Yeah.
think I said it right. I'm always going to respect that. Um, and even if I have to do the work to say for your state, I'll do the
Mm.
work to let you know where in your state where you could get help at,
Okay.
but always call that 800 number, 800-799-SAFE
Yeah,
7233,
across the
you
screen.
know, it's going across the screen. But I would do anything to help you. Like I said, you could just DM me. It doesn't matter. I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer the domestic violence awareness page. And I always do, you know, what I answer, I'm always going to keep myself safe, so I'm not going to do nothing crazy. I have done crazy things, but I've learned, no, when you helping somebody, you can't be crazy because you don't know them and you don't know the abuser.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
got to be very careful.
So, everybody can visit her domestic violence awareness page because you also have a podcast. Is that correct? That deals with domestic violence.
Yeah, I gotta I have one, but I gotta make it live. I'm
Mm-hmm.
working on it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm definitely working on it. So to make it go up, but I'm doing stuff on Facebook now, but I'm working on that. So yeah,
Okay. Okay. So we have another question. Wouldn't enduring or staying be dangerous?
it just depends. It depends because you could endure it. You know what? Honestly, Anthony, leaving could be dangerous. Staying could be dangerous. So you have to weigh your options. You
Mm-hmm.
could leave and get wiped out. You could stay and get wiped out. Only you know that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. So I mean, like either or, it can like go either way. I know once when I was in a particular homeless shelter, this was in Orlando, there were women there that had left domestic violence situations, and I guess they did everything that they could to protect these women. So as far as okay, thank you for putting that up there. Someone has dropped the link to Sean's page in the comments.
Thank you, Katie.
So so we would have there was a buzzer on our door. So the door was always locked and it was glass so the person at the front can
Yes.
see who's coming in there, and it's like you couldn't come in and just ask for someone. You couldn't say, "Is Lisa here?" You had to know I was there. But there was this young lady that I became friends with. She was really young at the time. She was like 28. We talked all the time. She had her two children. She was from Haiti. A family from Tampa sponsored her to come to the US, to Orlando. However, the man followed her. The abuser followed her. And one he had I guess he also had visitation rights for his children. So they went to, like, they would always have to meet in a public place. So this particular time, I'm not sure where he picked the children up at, but when she went to pick her kids up at the Walgreens on Colonial and Orange Avenue, because I was in Orlando, so I
You
know
reliving
exactly,
that.
because this was my friend this happened to.
You reliving that.
And she took another woman's baby from the center because she thought, he's not going to hurt me if I have this child here, the baby. I'm not going to say his name. I know the names. I'm not going to say his name. He was only a year old. The kids got in the car. He pulled out a gun and shot her in the head, killed her in front of her children and that young baby that was with them. It was all over the news. But the thing is, because I know there was the question that is, wouldn't enduring be dangerous or in staying in AD said. So she left. She like left a whole country.
She left the whole country, but you know
And
what?
he followed her, and he killed her right in front of her children.
And that is so true because you stay. Listen, it's almost like the 10 leopards. If I stay
Hmm.
here, I die. If I leave, I might die. I'm taking my chance to go.
Hmm.
Or, or, you know what? I'm staying because I don't have no real place to go with me and my children.
Right.
You go into a shelter, you risk the chance of somebody molesting your children in the shelter. There's a lot of stuff going on in the shelter. So I've heard where people say, well, you're just stupid. you know that might be, you might think I'm stupid, that might be, but it's not your life, it's my life. So I
Hmm.
might have had to stay.
Yeah.
And
True.
like I said, I endure, but I
Hmm.
knew also that it was a chance I was taking. No matter what chance I was taking, whether I left or whether I stayed, it was a chance either way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to, before I get into my question, the question of the night, talk about some of the different types of, and I know you mentioned the financial abuse earlier,
You
but talk about some of the different types of abuse.
So you again, you have the financial. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have a job. He has the job. He has all the money. He has everything. You have nothing. That's financial. That's a part of domestic violence. Then you have the mental, where maybe he's not putting his hand on you, but he's mentally abusing you. You feel like
Mm-hmm.
you're going crazy. You feel like nothing is nothing. Okay. Then you have the isolation, and you're not allowed to talk to nobody. He checked your phone, he checked everything, he knows
Mm-hmm.
everything that's going on. It ties into everything. He knows everything. He has a tracker. You go to Walmart, you got to hurry up. You don't have no way to get out because, excuse me, you don't have no way to get out because he is holding the finances. You don't have no finances. He gives you the money for to go shopping. He gives you the money to do the grocery shopping and do the shopping for the children. He gives you the money for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Financial abuse, emotional abuse. He emotionally abused you and emotionally abused the children.
Wow.
We talked about financial, mental, emotional, sexual abuse. He goes out and he does whatever he wants. Then he come back and you got to sleep with him and perform all kind of nasty acts with him. You got that
Mm-hmm.
sexual abuse.
Wow.
There's
Crazy.
there's a lot. There's a lot. It's almost like you want to say, just put your hands on me and get it over with. Don't do all that other, the mental, the physical, the psychological. Don't do all that. It's a lot. It's a
Mhm.
lot.
Wow.
And it's not that people just accept it. Sometimes you have no way out. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
have no way out. I often listen to people when they say, well, I wouldn't do that, but you're not the one that giving no donations for no houses to go up for women. You're not the one that's looking to sponsor a woman, but you're talking about what you won't do. What you won't do is you won't help that woman out. That's what you won't do. Why they be talking all that craziness.
Yeah. And
you
when
know
you, on the last part of that, you was talking about the support. So how do you, within the Raymond Empowerment Center, how do you support other
well
women?
Well, how I support, I don't get no funding. I do
Mhm.
everything out of my pocket. So, and then I have a friend that I work with sometimes, and she'll put people up in a hotel. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And I have done that too when I could do it, or I'll look for resources. But what I'll do is like, call around, look to see who has what. And I'm so working on getting some place for them.
Yeah. And how can people support you?
Well, I don't have a 501c3. I have a 501. So whoever support me, and Lisa's on my board too, whoever support me, they will not be getting no tax
Tax
write-off.
write-off. Yeah.
So if you're doing it for a tax write-off, I don't have that just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is backed up and I don't have that just yet. But you know, or you don't even have to give me the money. If I find someplace and I have to house a woman, let me call you and you pay the hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want it. Let them pay the hotel. That's how you can support me until I get my 501c3, and then I could give you a little write off.
Yeah. So now, how will people connect with you? Is that on? Can they just go to your website to connect with you? Like if they want to support you in any type of way, if they have any type of resources they want to give you.
They could write on there, but I have to do something on my website. So no, because it's not set up to take no donations.
Okay,
So it's
but
not set up to take no donations. But what they could do is probably do PayPal, because I have PayPal,
mhm.
and that would probably be better. Or like I said, they could even just if I needed if I needed something and write something down on Facebook that, listen, I need help
Okay.
sponsoring a woman. Again, they could call. I'll give them the information and pay for a hotel.
Okay.
You know what
And
I mean? So
yeah.
nobody think that I'm taking anything because I don't. You know me. I don't want it. I just want to house that woman. You
Hmm.
know, that's it.
And they
Well,
can go.
Christmas is coming up and the holidays is coming up. Buy a care package and just send it to me so I could,
Okay.
be able to give to that woman because during the holidays, there's organizations out there that's always doing for children, but no one does for a single mom.
Oh, wow.
People
Okay.
don't do as much for a single mom. That single mom might have holes in her drawers. She
Hmm.
might not have no panties on. I'm not talking about this new generation that don't wear them anyway. Because I had to look at some girl and say, girl, you have no panties on? We don't wear them with certain things. But I'm not talking about that. She might not could afford no undergarments. She
Yeah.
might not have a good bra, because most moms, they're going to think about their children.
Yeah.
And I'm the last person, so I'm gonna have to pin them panties up. And I was that one at one time that had
Hmm.
to do that.
Okay. So you can take care. So you all can, and I'm talking to my podcasters because they cannot see this information on Facebook. You can connect with Shawn at Trek, and that's TREC, Trek Domestic Violence Awareness page, just in case you want to follow her, be able to see what she has going on, if there is anything that she's going to be needing, or if you just want to connect with her and say you would like to partner or make a donation to her organization, the Ramah Empowerment Center, so that she can keep her work moving forward with ease,
Thank you.
supporting women of domestic violence and everything else that she's doing within the community. So you can again visit her Facebook page, Trek, TREC, Domestic Violence Awareness on Facebook. So Shawn, we're coming to a close here, but I do want to ask you this question. We've been talking about domestic violence, getting out, being safe when you're doing it, even providing places and spaces for women and children that's coming out of these particular situations. So the question I want to ask you is, say you were given a safe house for women of domestic violence, women and their children, and it's your job to fill this house. And I'm not talking about fill it with furniture, like on a spiritual level, mental, emotional, and we're going to say God is a given.
Right.
Okay. So tell me 5 things that you're going to put in this house for those women and children.
It's always going to be food and
Okay.
enough food. It's going to be it's the food is going to be a washer and dryer so they can
Okay.
wash their
Okay. Wait,
clothes.
wait, Shawn. No furniture. We
Oh, you said no furniture.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be food. It's going to be plenty of love there. I'm
Okay.
going to
Yeah.
be able to empower them. It's going to be plenty of love there. I'm not going to teach nobody religion, but we're going to have a Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to take whatever you want, but that's going to be that once a week. Then it's going to be a time where you have to go and you have to take care of yourself. Make sure you get physicals because you cannot take care of your children without taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Physicals. And then I will probably connect with someone that could do dental work because
Mm-hmm.
people let themselves go, mothers. So probably somewhere that they can have dental work. So those are the 5 things. They have to maintain their health.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
have to eat healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have a Bible study. We have to have a process group. So we talk about things that we don't end up back in the same situation.
Oh,
And what was
absolutely.
the other one that I said?
Love.
Love. Those are
Mm-hmm.
the 5 things.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you so much. So again, everyone, my guest tonight, Shawn Saxton, as we bring awareness to domestic violence. She is the founder of the Ramah Empowerment Center, here sharing a story. And if you're coming on late, you can always go back and watch the replay. So I want to thank you all for joining me live on tonight. Um, And you can also, before we go, I just want to mention your book again, A Tribe Out of Domestic Violence. That can be, you can purchase that book at Amazon, or
Yes.
you can connect with Shawn on Facebook and IG and also Clubhouse. So information is here. You can't, yeah,
You
you can see it
can't
a little
see
bit
it.
now. Yeah. On Facebook at Shawn Lovely
Can't see it.
Saxton, IG at Coach Shawn 2021, and Clubhouse at SL Saxton. You can connect with her. Visit her website, trekforchange.com. And to my podcast listeners, that's Trek, TREC, the number 4 change.com. So again, I want to thank you all for joining me on tonight. Shawn, thank you
Thank you,
for
Lisa, for
joining me
having me.
tonight. And again, the domestic violence hotline is 800-799-SAFE or 7233. And you can also visit their website at, I'm waiting for it to come through, the hot okay, let me see, the hotline.org. There's information there. They talk
Yes.
about creating a plan. They talk about signs of abuse, and Shawn talked about that also. They talk about signs of abuse and all those types of things. So make sure you connect with that website. Call the number if you need to call the number, or if there's someone that you know that needs that information. If you need
Katie's
to
on the
connect with
ball.
Shawn, she said you can DM her, follow her if you need help, if you need any type of assistance, so that she will be able to assist you in getting to a safe place. So again, thank
Yes.
you everyone. Thank you to my YouTubers, the replayers, the podcasters, all those that join me on Facebook Live. I am Lisa L. Yeomans, the founder of Change Gonna Come, and this is Change the Channel. No static, no interference. And I will see you all back here next Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until the next time, everyone, goodbye and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.